serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Okay, we're back with the second half of this, the Duck, Wayne Carey, and myself. Now, I tell you what I was going to do during the break. I'm going to ring Wendell Saylor. I've got his number, and we'll just see if the veracity of what was reported in the paper is. I should have done that before I mentioned it to you, but I'll get on to
Well,
that.
you haven't even said to anyone what you didn't say already. What's apparently you've read about.
What? What was that, Doug? I did.
Before we went to a break, you didn't actually say what you'd read about. You just said, "I want to talk about Wendell."
No, no, I didn't. I said, what do you, didn't I, Sue?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I said Wendell Saylor.
You did.
I mentioned Wendell Saylor. Have you spoken to him? I said, because there was a report in the paper that he was standing in the middle of the road holding traffic up, and they said he was either, the report was either on, seemed to be affected by drugs and alcohol, and I said, that was the report. Have you heard anything? And you said no. And I said,
No, I haven't. But I'll tell you what, Sam. I'll tell you what I'd do about the report that you've heard. Where'd you hear this report?
it was just came over it was in the paper.
It was in the paper. Well, I tell you what. Divide it by half.
Yes.
Chop it in half. Divide it again. Chop it in half again, and divide it again, and that'll give you somewhere near the truth.
I couldn't agree with you more. I was going to ring and just reach out. I've met Wendell Saylor.
Look,
He's a good
I
man.
tell you what.
Reach out and ask him, is he okay?
Yeah, he'll be okay. He's a good man, Wendell Saylor. He's a very generous man with his time and everything else. I tell you, you know what? I like you know this as well as I do. And for all of our listeners out there that listen to this podcast, and I'm not just saying it because of, I've had things written about me that are not true, Sam. You just spoke about something that little Andrew Apprentice and the bisexual Mitch Brown spoke about, and that is and how inaccurate they can get it. So whenever you read something, take it with a grain of salt. And don't sit back in judgment, because generally, like I said, it generally does not resemble the truth whatsoever.
Spot on, Duck.
And sometimes that includes from our great men in blue and white. Sometimes, or men and women in blue and white. Sometimes it doesn't always come out exactly the way it should.
No, it does not, Duck. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, I
did fail to mention a little bit of a quite a funny little bit. We spoke about doing the Santa photos. I failed to mention that Jess. Now, normally it's me that gets into little situations, but. Jess had to return a pair of shoes that she got for Carter a couple of weeks ago, and to JD Sports. So JD Sports across the road from Maya in the city, straight across the road. So we walked straight across the road, went in. I had Cole at the front of the store. Jess was down the back of the store returning a pair of shoes, and she got into, she was just she was in a hurry, probably worried about me wanting to not sit there and look after Cole at the front of the store. So she just said, can I return these, please? They didn't fit. She did want to swap them over, but there wasn't a pair that fit Carter. So anyway, cut a long story short, the young lady was a little bit rude to her. The number didn't match the card. She said, we can't.
The shop assistant.
Correct. We can't return the shoes unless you have the same card. So anyway, Carter ran up, got me. I went down, checked my cards. She didn't use my cards, and Jess said, maybe it was Apple Pay. Check Apple Pay, because that will come up as a different number. Anyway, the shop assistant didn't know what she was doing, so she just said, look, we can't do this. She rang someone else. That other person came and spoke to Jess, turned a little bit, into a bit of argy-bargy about the return.
A
They
spirited
realised
conversation, Duck.
they realised that Jess was right. She did pay on Apple Pay, and that number matched the number, so they were able to refund the shoes. But as Jess was walking away, the lady, and I thought you always got taught if you worked in hospitality, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be a JD Sports, whatever it may be, that the customer's always right. Well, as Jess was walking away, the young girl, or I don't know, I think Jess said she was quite young. She said to Jess, "Get some Botox, would you?"
The attendant said that.
Yes, get some Botox, would you? And
Brilliant.
Jess was not. Jess said, "I beg your pardon." And yeah, so anyway, we got out of the store, and it was quite the entertaining 10 minutes at JD Sports.
Yeah.
I think Jess might have rang the management, and I've never heard an assistant or someone that actually yells out an insult about someone's looks.
I want you to, when this is over, Duck, I want you to go back to the store, JB, what is it called? RB
JD,
Sports or whatever.
JD Sports.
Go back and see if the girl is still employed.
Well, I mean, look, Jess has been laughing about it because she said, maybe I do need some Botox. She doesn't, by the way, but she said, maybe I do. But I just found it fascinating that a young shop assistant would yell that out to a customer.
Would you be calling for her sacking?
I don't want anyone to be sacked, ever.
So you wouldn't be?
No, I wouldn't be, but Jess would probably like an apology. Either that or she pay for Jess's Botox.
That's a very good solution.
I think so.
Very good, sir. Now, so your friend Greg Swan is swan down from Brisbane, and he's taking the AFL, I got a feeling, by the scruff of the neck and trying to bring some sanity back to some of the things that are going on. Do you agree? Because this was in the paper too, Duck. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so you'll have to tell me if it's true or not. Do you agree with the fact that he said he's going to allow the field umpires to check the statistics after the game of the game, so they can make considered Brownlow votes?
I really like Swanee's approach. Always have. I think he's done some good things already, common sense things, and. Does this make sense? There's been people have called for this for a while. Some people agree with it, some people don't. I don't.
What do you do? What do you agree with?
I don't disagree with it. The only thing that I would love them to do then, if they were to look at statistics, is not just look at numbers, but look at the players that have stopped players getting numbers. And what I mean by that is a guy like Harris Andrews, who
so that's the point of it, Duck. That's the point of it, mate.
Correct.
I saw Mick Martin touched the ball twice in a game and gave him best on the ground because the bloke he played on was a red-hot full forward, can't remember his name, who he held to no goals.
Well, it's probably Gary Ablett Senior, Tony Lockett, Jason Dunstall, Tony Modric.
One of them.
Stephen Kernahan.
So what stats would you have to look? What stats would you have to look at? It is ridiculous giving the umpires the stat sheet so that they can make a considered opinion about who they think's played well. Greg, you're a great man.
Yep, I love it.
What?
Then. Well done, Swanee.
You like it?
Yep.
You don't like it?
I do like it because I tell you what, the umpires don't pick up on that sort of stuff. What you pick up on in the box when you're giving out your votes, they don't pick up on that. They just pick up on the bloke picking up 35 possessions. So I like the fact that they're able to do that and give out votes on hopefully a more balanced keel than what they have done in the past. And if they'd done that, I might have won a Brownlow or two. back in the
Uh,
day.
so, so you've got me confused. Are you disagreeing with me saying I think it's ridiculous that the umpires
Yes,
should be allowed to look at the
yes, I'm
stats?
disagreeing with you. I'm saying I don't mind it. I like it.
Well, the umpires can't make a considered opinion about whether Mick Martin stopped a bloke kicking
No, I'm
any
saying
goals
I
or not.
like. I'm saying I want them to see the votes. I mean the stats.
Gee, well, good on you.
What a,
Well, that's
I'm
why
saying that's a great decision by Swanee to bring that in. I like it. Just on
yeah,
that, I had lunch with
I'm.
Mick Martin. I had lunch with Mick Martin last Friday, and
Give us his voice again, will you?
with the great Greg Miller and the great Greg Miller and a few North boys, and we all had a bit of a lunch last Friday. And I was trying to make Mick, feel good, and somehow, as you do, you get into footy, and he was saying how I cost us at the grand final in '98 for kicking inaccurately, and I said, well, would have been good if you kept Gary Ablett Senior to one less goal in '94 when he took that mark with 1 second to go in the goal square. So we just have a bit of go, and it's funny. Mick said to me straight away, he goes, "You didn't have to play on Ablett Senior, Tony Lockett, Jason Dunstall, Tony Modra, Stephen Kernahan, Stuart Lowe. I mean, the list goes on and on who he had to play on. He played on the best forwards in the game's history in one era.
He did.
Martin did.
He did.
And imagine waking up every morning knowing that you had to play on one of those blokes every week.
Yes, and imagine that you or an umpire would have to go to a stat sheet after a game and see that Mick Martin held Jason Dunstall to no goals, and shit, I want to see his stats. He got one kick. I can't give him a vote. Imagine having to do that.
You're not listening. Doesn't matter. His job is to stop him. He looks at it and says, "Oh, Dunstall kicked no goals. Dunstall took 2 marks for the game. Obviously, Mick Martin was very good. Should get 2 votes."
Therefore, you don't need a stats. Don't need a stat sheet.
I think
The
they do.
stats is the Brownlow is a unique award, a dappy little award, which is given by dappy little people. There's far better and far greater awards than umpires' votes. Leave it as it is.
You're not going to get someone that agrees with you more, given that I never won one, Sam. You had me at hello in terms of the award itself. I would be talking differently if I'd won a couple. Just while we're still on footy, we're still on it. So I disagree with you, by the way. I think Swanee's made a good decision there. I want to talk North Melbourne. So we know that they won the grand final last week in the North Melbourne Women's. By the way, just another shout out to Mitch Brown. I spoke positively of AFL Women's Mitch. So do your homework a little better, and you might come up with a more respectable, correct answer to when
He's confused.
Yes, a considerate answer. So, but going to the men's game now, North Melbourne named a new captain. So we had this discussion a few weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
And we talked about Jai Simpkin, who tried to leave North, and we talked about Zach Merritt, who stood down at Essendon, and I said he is one guy that I think could still remain as captain. You disagreed. And
Yes.
Guy Simpkin, who tried to do the same, so he stepped aside. So the new captain for North Melbourne is Nick Larkey.
If you say so.
No, so do you know who Nick Larkey is?
No. Who is he?
Oh, well, he was All-Australian 2 years ago, Stan, in a side
Yes.
that finished bottom of the ladder. So he kicked...
Is that a good rap?
Well, it is a good rap if you're a key forward and your side's not going all that well.
If you're the best player in a poor side, you'd probably get through anyhow, wouldn't you?
Well, he's certainly he's a very good forward. He's 27 years of age.
Good.
And he's North Melbourne, so he's the new captain. I think it's a good appointment. Harry Sheasel was also one that could have been named captain. Obviously, they decided to go with someone a little bit older and maybe do it for a few years before. I think Harry Sheezer will be captain of that club one day. But for this point in time, Nick Larkey, I think it's a good appointment. So congratulations to him for being
So,
the captain.
so you're
of
glad you're glad the bloke lost his captaincy because he tried to go elsewhere. But Zach Merritt, you thought should stay on at Essendon, even though he tried to jump ship.
Well, one won their best and fairest. The other one didn't.
And what relevance is that?
Well, and what
That
relevance
is
is it?
illogical. There's no relevance in that statement at all, Doug.
Well, one performed, one goes about his business. Real anyway. Jai. I just hope Jai has a really good year. He's not got the captaincy. I know you're being facetious.
I'm not. I'm not being facetious.
The other topic that I wanted to
hang on. I just want, before you get off the Brownlow, I spent a afternoon, Sue and I, on a grain truck at Fife Transport with Nat Fife. I'd been over 7 years ago for the footy show, went out to his property at Lake Grace, and we spent a lovely afternoon with one of the nicest people and greatest advocates for our sport, Nat Fife, double Brownlow medalist, and he was carting grain, picking it up in hoppers and driving it in road trains, and we spent an afternoon with him out at his property at Lake Grace. And I can't mention this because I said I wouldn't, but I'm just saying, when you hear what his next venture and adventure is, you won't believe it, because he's leaving the football and he's not going to entertain playing or coaching. I can say that. But what he's doing next, you won't believe. But I said, can I mention this, Nat? He said, no, not at the minute. He said, but so I wouldn't. He is safe with my information. But he is a marvellous boy coming from a great family, Nat Fife.
Yeah, no, I've been a fan. He's been a wonderful footballer, wonderful person for football in a lot of ways, and I know that he came from outback Australia.
Lake Grace.
Yeah, no, well, probably says a lot why he had a good work ethic when he played football, given that...
Very good, Doug.
Yes.
What were you going to say then, before I interrupted you?
Talk about work ethic. I'm going to take tonight, actually, I'm going to take Carter along with the man that, we know that got, that everyone pots and everything else. But I'm going along with the great Ricky Nixon.
Yes.
The Ricky, well, not maybe.
Ricky was very happy you stood up for him last week.
Maybe not saying the great Ricky Nixon, but Ricky Nixon.
The beleaguered.
I'm taking Carter with me, and we're going to the Queen Victoria markets, and we're going to hand out some food for the homeless for Christmas tonight, and taking my younger kids along to teach them some values and just how some people live in this state of ours and in this country of ours, and it's not all bells and whistles, and it's not all roses and chocolates, and just show them how some people live. And it's very sad, but I'm looking forward to going down there and helping out tonight. So I'll be taking my younger ones along with me to help, which I'm
very
looking forward to. Yes.
Yes, that's another thing the state government could do, rather than apologising for things that no one had anything to do with. Get down and help the homeless and those who are doing it tough under their regime, under the Andrews government and the Allen government. People are destitute because they've mismanaged the whole state for years.
Looking forward to that, Sam. And what else? What else you got?
I've got now. I don't want you to think I'm being grubby or distasteful, but this is where some of your money goes. You think I'm making this up? But there's a study has come out, Duck, and I only mention this because could you waste the public's money with harebrained schemes? We've had the machete bins, but this this takes the cake, this takes the butter convection. A study has a study has come out, said that smelling farts helps to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. Smelling farts has come out,
Well,
a study to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's. First of all, I want to know how did they arrive at that? Did they have a band of people go around and sniff people's bottoms? And were those people who were sniffing people's bottoms, did they have Alzheimer's or had started to get it? How can you quantify giving a grant? That's where our money goes, Duck.
oh, wow. Does it have to be someone else's or can it be your own?
So I bet they didn't do a study on that. So if you think
Because I
you're
can
going
tell
a
you
bit
this.
loopy,
If it's smelling your own, I'll definitely won't get Alzheimer's. I can guarantee.
that's a very good point, Duck. If you think you're just starting to lose it a bit, see if you can put your hooter down where your ought is, and savour a couple of well-placed missiles. Who comes up with who would get a grant to do that?
You know what? You're spot on, and that
Now,
how that even gets passed. But like I said, if you're smelling your own, what about if you're smelling your baby's your fresh born baby's poo? Because I tell you what, I'm sniffing a fair bit of that lately.
I don't think they've done a study on that yet, Duck. I don't think they've got that far, sniffing your freshborn baby's poo. I don't think there'll be any money handed out for that sort of grant. Now, this is my final thing I want to say to you. I by no means want this to come out in the public. I don't. And I feel for the family. How can we've mentioned this before, and it's absolutely a fact, a high-profile family, football families, high-profile football family has his son has been convicted of rape, and they have suppressed his name. Why aren't the papers or the media allowed to mention who it is? I'm not trying to tip him in. I'm just saying, how does that happen? How can you not? When someone's convicted and been charged and been found guilty, how can you suppress his name?
Look, Sam. I dare say it costs money, a lot of money.
What's that?
I dare say it costs a lot of money
What costs a lot of money?
to repress a name.
Suppress it, but that's
Suppress.
no. But what? So they've paid to have it suppressed.
I would assume so. There's no other way to be able to do it.
But that's
But it
not the
costs you a
law,
lot of
surely.
money. But look, at the end of the day, how does it affect how does it affect your life by knowing who that person is? How does it affect
I
mine?
know who that person is.
I know,
I'm
but
not trying to.
I'm just saying, by knowing the name, who cares? I mean,
Well,
all that it
because
does, it does affect the people that surround that person. There's a lots of reasons why people get names suppressed, but I would assume.
I would say no one's name gets suppressed. When no charges come up like that, no one's name gets suppressed.
Well, hang on.
And I'm
hang
not
on.
trying
People
to.
don't. Well, hang on. You've got pedophiles. Pedophiles get their names suppressed, and that all the time. Darren Hinch was fighting for this for years.
Pedophiles have to go into a register that they can't live close to schools, or they have to tell the people or the street
Yeah,
that
but
they're
the
living
public
in.
don't know. You could be living next to one and you don't know.
I'm not trying to have the name come out. I'm saying I know who it is. Most people know who it is. I was just wondering, can you pay to not have anything printed about you that you don't want? That's all I'm
I
saying.
assume you can. I assume you can. But given the amount of times your name's been mentioned in the media and my name's been mentioned, we wouldn't have two
Yeah, I'd
Bob
be
to rub
broke.
together if we tried to suppress
That,
it.
that is actually vaguely my point. If you
Yes.
didn't want your name mentioned about something that you've done, uh, it wouldn't happen, Duck. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
And I don't wish, and I
we
wish
should
the
have got our
family
name.
well.
We should have got our name suppressed last week when Mitch Brown and what's his name, the apprentice bloke, had a go at us.
Well, Daily Mail, I hope they print this conversation because that little grub who pinches our stuff on footy conversations, he pinches our stuff, and because people complain that he's a parasite, he moves on and gives himself a different name. He keeps jumping ahead of the people who try and shut him down.
Take it as a compliment. Take it as a compliment, great man.
Well, now, Duck, this has been enlightening. I'm sure you don't think that the umpires should see the stats.
Yes,
You're just
I
saying
do.
that.
I do.
No, that's bullshit.
I like it. I like it.
Why?
And like I said, well, I'll give you an example. And not that I'm bitter. I'm going to give you an example. If the umpires had the stats in 1996, it might have been 94, might have been 95, might have been 98, could have been any of the years where I probably should have won it. I had 27, I kicked 6, I took 14 marks, and I got 2 votes, right? So think about that. 26 possessions at centre forward, 14 marks and kicked 6. David King, my teammate, had 27. He took 1 mark and he played on a half-back flank, no goals. He got the 3 votes. So if the umpires were allowed to look at the stats, they would have said, oh, hang on, maybe we should flip that.
The umpires probably took into account, Duck, that you told them to get fucked on several occasions during the game.
Yeah, you know
now,
what?
finally,
Yeah,
last week you mentioned that a Dermot Brereton has left Fox Footy. So I read this in the paper before I worked out who they were talking about, and it said, this was a headline in the paper, the AFL world has been saddened and are rallying, and I read that and I thought someone's died. And they said the AFL world has been saddened, has had rallied around Dermot Brereton. I thought, shit, he's dead, or something's happened to him. All he did was, I think he got sacked, did he? Or he lost his job. And then Mick Neal from Fox, he says, he will be remembered with pride. Massive name in our game, a treasured member of the Fox Football Organisation. Well, Mick, why did you sack him if you've got all that about him? He's a treasured name. I thought, Jesus, I thought he was dead, saddened by the loss of Dermot Brereton. I thought the poor bastard's dead.
No, he'll come back better and better, Dermy. He'll have offers everywhere. He's a great man. He might do a bit of...
He is a great man.
Dermy does a bit of caravanning. You and him might be able
does.
You and him might be able to hook up. Hey, Jess, what's Dermy's caravan? What is it? He's with...
Crusader.
He's with Crusader.
Crusader.
Yes, Crusader, which is a great...
I'm with
caravan,
Essential.
Yes. No, he's with Crusader.
Did you say Crusader a good caravan?
They're a fantastic caravan, Crusader.
Yeah, they are. And so is Essential, the one that I'm in doing this podcast from.
Maybe you and Dermy should have a caravan off, or you're talking about the train, the trains, the big trucks. Maybe you and him can tailgate one another. Him in the Crusader, you in the Essential, and so you can cross the Wildest River or something.
We're called wobblies. The truck drivers call the people who tow caravans wobblies because they beetle along at about 90k while the big road trains are doing 110. They nearly blow them off the road. And the wobblies don't...
I might do. I wouldn't mind. The only problem with... I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of caravanning. I just can't drive for more than 3 hours a day.
Well, that's all you have to drive 3 hours a day. We've been around Australia driving 3 hours a day in the Essential van.
Yeah.
I would think Dermot would be a bit relieved about not having to watch AFL at the minute, because it is far a different game from when he played, and I reckon he'd be
Absolutely.
absolutely depressed by watching most of the games Fox send him to.
Yeah, well, you know what he does. He in the last couple of years, he has been given the lesser of the blockbusters. Let's put it that way. So it would be probably a little bit of a relief. I will see now. Am I going to see you in Melbourne next week live, or are you still going to be away for another week or two?
Yes.
Still away for another week or two.
No, we are,
Okay.
Duck, but don't worry. If you can just drag yourself to a position and we can speak to you, the fans love it. And you can come
All
up with
right.
some more ridiculous things to say, like umpires are looking at the stats. Absolutely. You're only doing that because I said the other.
All right. Go and fight some lizards and put your fly hairnet over your turkey hair, and you and Sue be safe.
Yeah.
Thank you
All the
very much.
best, my man.
See you,
Bye
mate.
bye.